Scott Ingen, WDAY First News.
Right now in America this morning, flood alerts for the morning commute affecting millions this morning. The same storm system spawning deadly tornadoes in the south, hundreds losing their homes. One man describes rescuing his young son as the tornado hit.
A new poll shows most Americans now disapprove of how President Biden is handling the war in the Middle East. What U.S. officials are saying now about the civilian death toll in Gaza amid scenes like this. Palestinians desperate for aid, trying to climb walls for food and supplies.
An arrest in the murder of a high school cheerleader in Texas, found dead in the bathtub of her home. What authorities are revealing about the suspect.
Truly a miracle. That's what police are saying about the rescue of this woman days after crashing down a canyon, how she was finally found.
Consumer alert if you're shopping for gift cards this holiday season. The new warning how thieves are stealing the value of the card before you even buy it.
And later, the $800,000 ring reported missing at a luxury hotel. It wasn't stolen after all.
From ABC News in New York, this is America This Morning.
Good Monday morning, everyone. I'm Andrew Dimberg.
Happy Monday. I'm Rhiannon Alley. We want to begin with extreme weather just in time for the morning commute in parts of the country.
A storm system that brought deadly tornadoes to the south is triggering flood alerts in much of the Northeast, from New York to northern New England. And now we're learning just how destructive those storms were over the weekend. This morning, the powerful storm system that spawned deadly tornadoes across the south is hitting the Northeast, dumping up to 6 inches of rain from New York City to Boston, and up to 5 inches of snow in higher elevations of the interior Northeast.
In the wake of that cold air oozing in, and well, that's what's going to change that rain to snow for all as we go into the overnight hours, or through the overnight hours. And in the wake of this storm, we'll get a little bit of lake effect.
In Tennessee, at least 6 people are dead, including 2 children. A mother and her 2-year-old son were killed when the storm hit these mobile homes. At least 26 tornadoes were reported across the region Saturday and Sunday, packing winds up to 150 miles per hour. The storm's causing tens of thousands of power outages. This fireball erupting at a power station outside Nashville. And this picture shows the damage at a different substation.
I heard behind me it sounded like a freight train.
Luke Dill says a tornado approached his home in Clarksville, Tennessee, as he was putting his son into his car seat.
I look up in the sky, and the entire sky across the street is just spinning. And I'm looking at it, and the wind is picking up. I can see the debris starting to fly. I pulled my son out as fast as I could. We ran inside, my 2 sons and my wife and I, we jumped in the bathroom, and then we just started praying to Jesus.
More than 360 homes and buildings are badly damaged or destroyed. A twister slammed into this Nashville church with dozens of people inside. Some suffered broken bones and legs.
I guess to say good morning to our loved ones again.
In North Carolina, a tornado tore down trees near Raleigh, damaging homes in this neighborhood. And at the North Carolina State women's basketball game, rainwater began leaking onto the court, resulting in a 20-minute delay. Back in Tennessee, 100 military families associated with Fort Campbell in neighboring Kentucky lost their homes. We'll check today's forecast in just a few minutes.
A new poll shows most Americans disapprove of the way President Biden is handling the war between Israel and Hamas. Even among Democrats, 38% say Biden is showing too much support for Israel as the humanitarian crisis worsens in Gaza. ABC's Justin Finch is here now with the details. Justin, good morning.
Rhiannon, good morning. Israel says there are signs Hamas is breaking, losing its grip on power in Gaza, but civilian infrastructure may be on the brink of collapse. This morning, new video showing the desperate situation in Gaza. Palestinians scaling the walls of a relief center trying to swing the doors open. People chasing a truck distributing water bottles. An official at the World Food Program warns there's not enough food. People are starving. Israeli forces now claim they've killed 7,000 Hamas fighters since the war began, but at a heavy cost. More than 18,000 Palestinians have died, according to the Hamas-run health ministry, and nearly 85% of Gaza's population has reportedly been displaced. Israel says it's doing what it can to protect civilians, but new videos are sparking criticism. an Israeli soldier is seen destroying a gift shop in Gaza, smashing snow globes and throwing toys. Israel promising to discipline those involved. In the meantime, Secretary of State Antony Blinken tells ABC's Martha Raddatz the U.S. is trying to lower civilian casualties, making sure Israel follows international law.
There's a gap between the intent and the results, and that's the gap that we're trying to make sure is closed.
And the U.S. boosting support for Israel in recent days, pushing through the sale of $100 million in tank ammunition while vetoing a UN resolution calling for a ceasefire. Andrew?
All right, Justin, thank you. The issue of U.S. funding for the war in Ukraine will be front and center as Ukrainian President Zelensky visits Washington tomorrow. He'll meet with President Biden and congressional leaders. Funding for the war is stalled in Congress as Republicans demand changes to U.S. border policies to address the migrant crisis.
Now to the race for president and the countdown to the Iowa caucuses, less than 5 weeks away. This morning, the frontrunner is making news for what he won't be doing today. Here's ABC's Allison Cossack.
This morning, a reversal from former President Trump, abruptly canceling plans to testify at his civil fraud trial today, citing, among other things, the alleged bias of the judge. Trump now saying he has nothing more to say. At a fundraiser over the weekend, he addressed his previous comment that if reelected, he wants to be a dictator, if only for one day.
And you know why I wanted to be a dictator? Because I want a wall, right? I want a wall, and I want to drill.
A new Wall Street Journal poll shows Trump not just dominating other primary candidates, but in a hypothetical matchup, he also beats President Biden 47 to 43%. Inflation poses a major problem for Biden. 46% of Americans now say their standard of living is worse than their parents'. Polling shows Biden would lose to former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley by an even wider margin than Trump. Haley, speaking to ABC's Lindsay Davis, addressed whether Trump is fit to be president given his legal troubles.
I think he's fit to be president. It's should he be president. I don't think he should be president. You know, I thought he was the right president at the right time. I agreed with a lot of his policies. The problem is, you see our country is in disarray. Our world is on fire. And you can't defeat Democrat chaos with Republican chaos. And Donald Trump brings us chaos.
With the Iowa caucuses just over a month away, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is staking his claim as the conservative in the race.
You have Donald Trump, who's obviously moved left, is not even really putting in the work to earn people's votes. And then you have Nikki Haley, who's appealing to even very liberal Democrat donors and taking positions that are more palpable to those folks.
Yes, USA.
Businessman Vivek Ramaswamy, who is 38, is touting his support among younger voters, showing off his energy with a push-up challenge.
Back to former President Trump, his civil fraud trial resumes tomorrow with both sides expected to rest their case this week. Closing arguments are set for January 11th. That's 4 days before the Iowa caucuses. Rhiannon, Andrew?
Allison, thank you. Special Counsel Jack Smith is pushing for Trump's election interference trial in Washington to stay on schedule for March 4th. Prosecutors have revealed that they asked intelligence officials who served under Trump if they knew of a single vote being flipped by a voting machine in 2020. They say every official said no.
A suspect is now in custody in the murder of a high school cheerleader in southeast Texas. The body of Lizbeth Medina was found in the bathtub of her family's apartment in the town of Edna last week. Police released surveillance images of a person of interest before arresting 23-year-old Rafael Romero. They say he is undocumented and he's now being charged with capital murder.
My head is just spinning everywhere, and I just want answers. I want justice. Nobody ever wants to see their child in the bathtub the way I found her.
Romero was arrested about 75 miles north of Edna. Medina's cause of death has not been released, and police have not said whether the two knew each other or whether the crime is related to a previous break-in reported at her home.
Holiday travelers should expect record crowds at the airport. AAA predicts 7.5 million people will travel by air over Christmas and New Year's. 104 million are expected to drive. More than half of all gas stations in the U.S. are now charging less than $3 per gallon.
Time now for a look at your Monday weather.
Good morning. It is a tough morning for the coast of New England with gusts of wind 60 to 70 miles per hour along the coastline. Power outages and travel trouble are big concerns, along with the drenching rain, 2 to 4 inches for some. The interior is going to switch over to snow. It's already happening in the mountains and the far interior, and we will be dealing with accumulating snow. 1 to 3 inches of snow for many in the interior, 3 to 6 inches for other spots. You get up into the higher elevations, 6 to 12 inches of snow on Monday. I'm active meteorologist Jeff Cornish.
Coming up, why the future of Macy's department stores is in the spotlight this morning.
But first, the mystery surrounding the murder of a Catholic priest in Nebraska.
And later, the consequences of Taylor Swift's fashion choice at the Chiefs game.